Yo, what up, guys? It's Daddy Chuck here, and I sound kind of tired right now. And I have Seth with me, but we got done, plowing some bitches, and right before I was about to finish, myself personally, I checked my phone, okay, because I was about to take like a fucking fire ass snap, right? And then I checked something that just made me be like, what the fuck? All right, so someone on Google Plus claimed that Omni King Zeno is omnipotent. This got me fucked up. So we're gonna be debunking this in explicit detail. And if you guys can, murder fucking pimp slap, stop that like button. Yeah, join our harem. So let's go, boys.
Okay, so smash those fucking buttons. Smash that fucking bell button, that subscribe button if you like what I do. Let's destroy these fucking wankers together. So without further ado, we're gonna be talking about how strong is the Omni King. Is he omnipotent? No. And
No.
just exactly how powerful he is. So without further ado, here's the cuck himself.
All right, so I'm pretty sure we all saw, that Trunks arc and its terrible fucking ending. But, let's get started with what Zeno did. So, Zamasu spread basically throughout all the universes in that timeline, and he even spread to, like, Universe 7's, like, past timeline.
Like I spread your woman's legs, right? We're keeping that in.
Yeah. This boy wishes. But anyways, all right. So this guy spread throughout all the universes there, like 1 through 12, and he did this, just by fucking existing there, right? He was basically time and space itself, right? And Zeno was just like, you know what? This guy pissed me off. I'm just gonna fucking blow him apart. I'm just gonna fucking get rid of him.
It just blew him the fuck up, dude.
No, dude, here's what happened, dude. Like, it's like you seeing like ugly thought at a party, dude, and she tries to hit you up, and you're like, nah, bitch, get the fuck out of here. You're not proper enough to witness my fate in person. So he basically just, Hakai'd that bitch, I guess you could say, and yeah, Zamasu was gone. So now what does this mean? This means that Zeno can basically destroy 12 universes, and all of space. Now it's kind of iffy if he destroyed all of time. All right. Oh, yeah. Actually, 36. Excuse me.
Yeah, he destroyed 36 because every universe has an afterlife, has the Kyle realm, and all that shit. It's all about like 3 universes each. You could even argue it's 2 universes at least, like 2.2. So it's at least like 24 plus.
24 to 36. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it is just being pissed off. He wasn't at full power or anything. And I mean. He was basically able to wipe out like all these universes and space, because we see like all this like white shit on there. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Here's something we should bring up, by the way.
Yeah.
Some people are arguing that he didn't destroy all 12 universes. That he only destroyed like Trunks' universe. What would you say about that? Okay,
first off, how the fuck would that make sense if Zeno deemed him as such a big threat? He had to destroy the whole thing from him.
Yeah,
he was even spreading. The whole timeline was gone, and Zamasu not only spread through that timeline, but also through another timeline. So what would be more logical? If he wouldn't spread, to another universe or, to like another like a timeline altogether, well, it'll take more effort.
Okay,
logically spreading to another timeline.
Yeah, so what he's saying is that it's more difficult to spread to another fucking point in time than it is just to spread to another universe on a 3-dimensional plane, because spreading to another timeline requires 4th-dimensional abilities, and spreading to another universe can just be 3-dimensional. Although it'd be 4th-dimensional in size, but still, it'd be a lot easier just to spread to another universe. And on top of this, the Omni King's just chilling there, bro. Like he's just sitting there upside down. Like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, everything's gone.
Maybe he got lonely, man.
He got super lonely. He's testing his flexibility or something. But regardless of that, he was just sitting there, man, because there was nothing left for him to do. Like, if there was still other universes, he would just like, okay, and just kind of like flew off into the distance and flew back to his kingdom or whatever the fuck. But like we said, the timeline's gone, man. He fucking popped like 36 universes with like a flick of the wrist just because Zamasu looked ugly to him and shit. Not even lying, man.
Okay, so now what does this mean on a dimensional state? So he can destroy all of, basically space and time.
Right.
It's actually kind of iffy if he destroyed all of time because,
space
Goku
and time are
were able to go back. Yeah, but it's a thing like Trunks and Goku like went back to see him, which is kind of weird, but... Well, yeah, what do you have to say regarding that? What do you have to say regarding that? Consistency or stupid shit?
I'm going to say it's Toriyama, man, because Toriyama is not a scientist. He is like a fucking goofball with a pen, right? He does not think about the fifth dimension or the fourth dimension when he's writing his fucking story. That's us as fans, right? You know, as like fiction fans, you know, like power scalers and stuff, we're like, okay, this character did this, and that requires this much force in real life to do. Okay. So if a character destroys all of time or destroys all of space, he's like universal, right? And he's destroyed all of time and space. That could be a fourth dimensional feat. But the authors don't really think like that. So when, you know, the Omni King destroys all of time and space and shit, well, he could have just been like he destroyed all of space, but Toriyama might not know, hey, destroying space also kind of destroys time, right? Toriyama might not know that shit. So that's why Goku and Trunks would be able to move within it. But if you're looking at it from like an actual objective standpoint, you would destroy time if you destroyed space. A lot of people don't realize that, but they are interwoven, and that is a fact that time and space are interwoven. So
yeah, so I mean, if you go by like what was shown, then he only destroyed all the space, you know, and you know probably time like in that universe because you know they said they were to travel to there, but
right.
You know if we're going by you know like busting standards and shit like that, then he would have had to destroy all of time as well, especially when we said he destroyed the whole timeline. So it's kind of fucking weird, honestly.
We can only just assume they destroyed the entire timeline, though. So would that be a fifth dimensional feat? On a very low scale, very low scale fifth dimensional if there was no timeline there. But it doesn't mean that they're fifth dimensional beings, to be exact, which is a little bit weird, but
okay, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys don't know what it means by, you know, like the fourth dimension or fifth dimension. I mean, it's even up to 13, 16 dimensions and like comics as well, which is fucking insane. But to explain it to you simply, like think of a piece of paper, right? You make a graph, right? You have the X and Y plane, right? And then you add Z, you add more axes as you go along. So that's what it would take. That's like the basic way of me telling you. But if you want to go more in depth, it would be basically like existing on a higher dimension and you're not affected by time and space the higher you go along.
Yeah.
So
if Goku did survive without time, that would be a fifth dimensional kind of feat, but it would be an outlier as well because he has not shown any other fifth dimensional shit like at all. In fact, you know, Hit's whole ability is time, and the fact that you know he can still time skip and all that stuff still kind of you know shows that Goku's at maybe high fourth dimensional at best. To be honest, there's no real proof that they're all fifth dimensional, but Zeno might be. Zeno might be low 5D.
This is where we're gonna go into like why Omni King is not omnipotent. Now, before we begin with the whole dimension shit, people think he's omnipotent just because he has Omni in his name, right? People. Okay, first off, Omni is basically like a root word for all, you know, like in Latin. So, you know, so it could either be like,
it means
for example, you have poly, which means many. All right, so you know, if we go by the literal meaning of omni, basically means all, right? So, for example, omnipotent means all powerful. Omnipresent means like all present, you know, like or you're present pretty much everywhere. Like omniscient means you know all, right? So shit like that.
Yeah.
Now, do you see potent anywhere in his title? Do you see potent anywhere?
It means king of everything, and people say this too. Even people in the show are like, he's the king of all things, right? Zamasu calls him the king of all things. Because he is the Omni King. He's the king of everything. That's exactly what it means. And on top of this, I'd like to bring something up to you guys. to be omnipotent, you have to be omniscient as well. You know that, right? To be omnipotent, you have to be omniscient. It's kind of the same thing with like Beyonder versus the one above all. It's because, you know, the one above all would be omniscient as well as omnipotent. So he could beat the Beyonder, even pre-retcon. So
okay, so think about it this way: like the main creators of respective universe are up to 16th dimensional if you go by the one above all, because he's basically able to exist on an omniversal scale, right? Because for example, Marvel has a shit ton of universes. I think it's implied they have infinite timelines and infinite worlds or universes, right? Yep. So there's multiverse, megaverse, hyperverse, stuff like that, omniverse, right at the very end. The one above all, there's only one of him. There aren't multiple, right? Like, for example, Zeno. Yeah, Zeno is affected by time because we know it's a future and a present Zeno. It's probably even more because we saw there's like many time rings, right?
Which adds to the argument that the fifth dimensional effect would be an outlier.
Yeah, so for example, Mr. Mixtel pick, the fifth dimensional imp, there's only one of him because he's able to live like
without time.
in a higher, without time, and he's not affected by it. So
Yeah. So by that logic, he couldn't really be fifth dimensional. Like I said, he might be at bare minimum like low fifth dimensional feet wise, but in terms of an existence, he's no more than 40. And before nobody understands what that means, but fuck it.
if Zeno were, implied to be fifth dimensional, he'd be like low fifth dimensional because he's, as we said, he's infinitely much higher than fourth dimensional beings, but he's still limited to time. So yeah.
Right. If anything's omnipotent in Dragon Ball, it would probably just be Toriyama himself, because he is in the show. Although there is some arguments that he's not omnipotent. We're not really getting into that. But an example of omnipotent is a being that's omnipresent, like Toriyama, because Toriyama is omnipresent and, all-knowing, knows everything about the verse, all that kind of shit, even though Toriyama doesn't know everything about his own verse. But as just an example, like the author of his own story is usually what's considered omnipotent, like the one above all. I don't think the Presence is the author. I think the Presence specifically said he wasn't, but he's nigh omni at least. So beings like that, beings that can actually fuck with all of reality and don't like rely on time. You can't have clones of them through timelines, that kind of shit. Like the Omni King has shown no omnipotent feats. He's just, I'd argue he's low multiversal, or at least multiversal, way above anyone else in the Dragon Ball cast, obviously. I mean, arguing he's low fifth dimensional and like say all the other characters like fourth dimensional could make sense possibly, but he is not anywhere above 5D or even close to omnipotent, and that's all I'm really going to say.
Yeah, and as I said, like the one above all, Living Tribunal, like Lucifer Morningstar, for example, those guys are easily at least beyond 13th dimensional.
Yeah.
Up to 16th dimensional, not much higher, which is fucking crazy.
Now, we're not trying to shit on the Omni King, because, like, as you guys know, I am a Dragon Ball fan, right? I'm not hating on Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball, right? But I'm not biased either, all right? People shit on the Omni King. There's a lot of characters that would shit on the Omni King. I know, but he could destroy anybody. He could, yes, he can destroy anybody in Dragon Ball. Okay, here's an example. Have you ever heard of Saitama? Right?
Oh my god.
Saitama can beat anybody. It's the same thing, bro. In his verse, sure. Go ahead. You can beat anyone in your own verse. But when it comes to other verses, it's about feats versus feats, not lore. And that's fact. You cannot argue that. It is feats versus feats. If you're going to say your character from this verse beats a character from another verse, you need the feats to back it up. Lore doesn't mean everything. And when a character proves he's omnipotent, that motherfucker's omnipotent. He's on tier 0, right? He can beat anybody. Or he could stalemate another omnipotent. That's it. But the Omni King has shown no such thing. And honestly, just because he can beat anyone in Dragon Ball doesn't mean he can beat anyone from every other series. And I say the same shit about Saitama, right? Saitama can't beat everyone from every series just because he can beat whoever's in his series. I'm not going to be biased and then be a fucking hypocrite and then say the Omni King can beat everyone from every other verse because his lore is somewhat the same.
Okay, guys, think about this, okay? So humans are naturally omnivores, right? So what does this mean? That we can eat both meat and, vegetables, right? And fucking everything, right? So since we have omni in our dietary term, does that mean we're omnipotent?
No, it means
we have omni there, right?
No, it means you can eat anything, bro. Your eating is on an infinite scale. You could just eat an entire house and shit. No, the term omni does not just mean infinite power. Just it's in the fucking name, bro. Omni is really reliant on whatever's with it. I don't really know how you'd put this, but omniscient is all-knowing. Omnipotent is all powerful. There's different terms, all right? And Omni King doesn't have either of those, so I don't really know where you guys are
for
going.
example, potent and iscient or present, those would be the suffixes after the word omni, to basically make up the whole word. So yeah,
and he hasn't been shown to have either of those. Zuno is supposed to be omniscient, right? Yet the Omni King isn't. So that means that Zuno can do things that the Omni King can't, meaning that the Omni King isn't omnipotent. Anyways, guys, hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Please DM Chuck and say, let Seth have your sister. And other than that, till next time.
If you guys, have any thoughties, that you like to give to me, just like send me a DM, like tell me her age, her location, and like what she's working with,
Her
and then
ASL. Her
I'll
ASL.
be interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll be interested, If it's below 18, then no, thank you. But thank you.
And with me today, I have my girlfriend, Chuck the Cyber Cock.
Jesus Christ.
We went to the same preschool together. Anyways, I'll have you know that the Omni King Zeno is about 800 million times universal. And because he survived in an empty space, he's about fifth dimensional to the second power, and he solos DC Tard comics and super fan with no difficulty. Okay, what? I'm so tired. Fuck. Okay.
It's 7:44 p.m., man.
You don't know what time it is. Are you fucking? Did you just assume my time zone?
My time zone. you're like trans.
I'm trans time zone. Like, you can't fucking tell me what time zone I am, bro. Like, what?
Yo, imagine if you're like late for work and you're like, well, I'm trans time zone. I actually thought it was, I believed it was 1 a.m.